Hello and welcome back to West Brom Fan TV for yet another round of predictions. I've just about recovered from yesterday's trip to Blackburn, very tired to be honest, but we're getting the content out there. So let's get started. Friday night, Portsmouth taking on Sheffield Wednesday. Now Portsmouth look pretty poor, losing again to Cardiff on midweek. Not the best at all, to be honest. I thought it was going to start a bit of a resurgence for them after beating QPR away, but yeah, not the best. They're taking on the Sheffield Wednesday side. They've been pretty decent as well, to be fair. Seems to be getting the odd win here and there when they need to, around mid-table. And I can't see Portsmouth getting a result. I know I said last time they were going to have a resurgence, but they just are so disappointing. So I'm going for Portsmouth 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2. Next up, we'll go on to the Saturday games. The first of many early kickoffs that we have these days. Absolutely nightmare for us fans travelling. As Bristol City take on Leeds United at Ashton Gate. Now, I'll start off with the visitors, Leeds. They've been pretty brilliant, to be fair. Obviously, 2 mistakes got on the win from the Watford goalkeeper midweek, but they've got some quality, haven't they? They're more than capable of winning this league, I think, personally. Bristol, a draw in midweek after being 2-0 down, again, shows the fight they've got in them, especially after the tragic news that happened to Liam Manning, the manager, losing his son, but I'm sure he'll be back in the dugout this weekend, saying that it's a tough test in Leeds and they've got their tails up. So I want to say Bristol City 0, Leeds United 3. Yes, a very happy day on the road for Leeds United. Next up is the El Sacico, many people call it, as Coventry City take on Luton Town. Now, Luton midweek came up short against Sunderland. Obviously, Sunderland are the best team in the league at the moment, top of the league, so you can't really look too deep into that. Saying that, Luton can't look back. They made a good account of themselves, and I guess last weekend they got a massive win in the derby against Watford. Coventry, on the other hand, are doomed, to be honest. Doors dishwater. Seems like the fans are turning now. It's not looking good at all, really, for them. But saying that, they'll be back at home. Should think the atmosphere will be decent at the CBS, as this is a game more favourable to them. Luton obviously are quite near them in the league table. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in this one. Up next, Vicarage Road, as bitter rivals for Luton, Watford take on Blackburn Rovers. Now, starting off Watford, Butterfingers in goal kind of cost them the game with 2 mistakes. Daniel Bachmann. I think it's about time that they give Jonathan Bond a chance in the sticks, to be honest. Watford do have quality, though, to be fair, even though they haven't had the last 2 games haven't been the best for them. They've got a decent amount of young attackers, a bit of pace in that side. They seem to be exciting. Blackburn, on the other hand, they've been doing all right. They're in the playoffs like Albion. I watched them on a midweek game, and yeah, they were all right. I think we should have won the game, but yeah, they've not really been too bad this season. And I think that Watford's last 2 games have knocked them, and I think they're a bit of a wounded animal. So I'm going to say Watford 1, Blackburn Rovers 2. Next up, Burnley taking on Queen's Park Rangers. I've only got a point midweek, 1-1 against Hull City away there. QPR are doomed as it looks at the moment, drawing to Coventry, who are right down there with them. Seems that QPR just can't get a win to save their life. And Burnley have a lot of quality, so 2-0 Burnley. Next up, Derby County versus Hull. Now, Derby love a home game. The majority of the points they've got this season have been at home. They got a point in midweek, against Oxford United, 1-1 draw. I think that's one of their first points on the road this season. But saying that, they're at home this time. Hull, a point against Burnley. A decent result. I think Burnley are one of the top sides this season. They'll be more than happy with that. But will they get 3 points at Pride Park? No, don't think they will. Like I said, it's tough place to go. Derby are loving playing at home this season, and I can only see it ending in a win for the Rams. 1-0 Derby County. Next up is Plymouth versus Preston North End. Now, Plymouth are absolutely abysmal on the road, as seen midweek losing to Millwall. But they've not been too bad at home, picking up the majority of the points there. Preston, on the other hand, have been classic Preston. They drew midweek 2-2 to Norwich, bottled a 2-goal lead. What I'm going to give for that, this is quite a difficult one, to be fair, to predict. I think that both teams will cancel each other out and it'll be a boring 0-0 draw. Next up, Sheffield United taking on Stoke City at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United, a little bit of a rocky patch of form, 2 defeats in a row. Saying that, they do have a lot of quality in that team. They've got the likes of Callum O'Hare, Gustavo Hamer, what's that big striker's name? Kiefer Moore, Rakisaki. I've probably butchered that name there. And obviously the goalkeeper, he's fantastic as well. Stoke, on the other hand, they've been looking okay. They've got some exciting loanees in there, like Louis Kumas. Or should I say Lewis Kumas? Probably got that one wrong. But, yeah, it's a tough place to go, Bramall Lane. They're going to want to bounce back soon, and I think this is the perfect game for them to do that. 2-0 Sheffield United, I want to go. Next up is the Sunderland taking on Oxford. I stuttered a bit there. At the Stadium of Light. Now, Sunderland have been, they said they've got a lot of young, and they've got a lot of young. Is that the right way to put it? Sorry, no. Got a lot of young players. It's an inexperienced squad. A lot of people doubted them, but they're getting the job done week in, week out, and they're still top of the league. Very impressive. They lost Jack. I saw this on Twitter, to be fair, today. They're losing Jack Clark to Ipswich, and they brought in Mundle, who's been just as good, maybe even better than Jack Clark. They are really a really good team. And yeah, there's a lot of hot propositions in there that Prem clubs will even be looking at. I think I'm surprised that Luke O'Neill hasn't been snatched up by a top Prem club yet. Not saying Sunderland aren't a top club, they are a top club, massive club. But you know what I mean, the money is in the Prem. Oxford, on the opposition, 2 draws. They seem to be the draw merchants of the league. I think they've got 4 draws in a row recently. Obviously, I watched them quite recently, and they were all right. They grafted. They make it difficult, especially at home. Horrible team to play, really. But yeah, it's going to be a tough test for them. But I think they're going to get something. I think it's going to be a thriller, this one. I'm going to go for a 3-3 draw. Up next is the Swansea.com Stadium, where Swansea City take on Millwall. Now, Swansea have been pretty good this season, I'd say. Around the upper mid-table area of the league. Picking up results here and there. Ooh, you can tell I've had a few late nights. Millwall, on the other hand, seem to be horrible at home. Just about staying away from the relegation zone at the moment. They're one of them. They lose 2 and then they win 1, and that's just going to basically carry them through the season, I get. What do I think of this? I think that Swansea's home advantage will play a big impact in the game. I'm going to go 1-0 to Swansea City. Next up is the Albion. I've not got an Albion shirt on today, but I've got my Chris Brunt Clash of Legends shirt on. As we take on Cardiff City at the Hawthorns. Now, we've had a bit of a rocky run of form. I think we've had no win in the last 5, so it's been pretty bleak as an Albion fan. Saying that, I'm still grateful because we're 4th and ahead of Sheff U somehow. So, that's the championship, I guess. We're still doing all right. Saying that, we need to pick up a result this weekend. We're desperate for it. We've not been the best at all. Let's speak about Cardiff City as well now. They've been really good. I think since they sacked the manager, they would be 2nd from the games they've played, which is really impressive, to be fair. They've got all the key names firing. El Ghazi's firing, Robinson's firing. I know El Ghazi still plays. To be fair, I looked at their squad the other day and I thought that, El Ghazi didn't forgot he was still out there. But yeah, he's at Cardiff City now, doing quite decent for them. Seems a bit of a feel-good factor in the club now. But the Hawthorns is a tough place to go. And I think we're finally going to score more than 1 goal at home. And we're finally going to get the job done. I'm going to say West Bromwich Albion 2, Cardiff City 1. Now, onto the Sunday, the final game of the week, as Norwich City take on Middlesbrough at Carrow Road. Norwich City have been pretty, I'd say underwhelming, slightly underwhelming. Saying that, they do have the top goal scorer in the league in Borja Signs, who can just pull a goal from anywhere. They're getting a lot of draws, Norwich, to be honest, this season. Middlesbrough, on the other team, they've picked up form quite well recently. They are probably the best team I've seen Albion play. I've said that multiple times on these prediction videos. But Carrow Road is a hard place. I think it would be a good atmosphere with the game getting moved by Sky. They'll be up for it. Let's go for a 1-1 draw. So, that wraps it up. Thank you all for watching. Up the Albion, corn you baggies. And we'll see you in the next one. And I need me bed. Good night, or good morning, or good afternoon. It's like the Truman Show. Ta-ta.